bought back stock so the stock price went up, paid back all the dividends to the stockholders, $40 million invested into the business. That's new product, that's R&D, that's production lines, increased by 82% production, and they still have $107 million in cash. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, to wrap up your weekend nicely, I've got a report for you a little on the lighter side. Now, we've covered a lot of things that are pretty heavy in the last week or so. So what I'm going to show you tonight is how the gun industry is emerging from the pandemic and from the first year of the Biden administration. It is in a stronger position, at least this reference, than I've ever seen. This is incredible news, and it directly relates to a positive for you. Because the fight that you guys have in you, the way that we're going to pass the blessing on to the next generation, voting with your dollars, the gun crunch might be over pretty soon, and we are looking at a higher level of normalization. That's enough setup. Everything is linked in the description box below. Let me know what you guys think on this one, and I want to hear from you. And now let's dive in. All right. Now this is a deceptive article because I've got two things I want to hit here. Smith & Wesson stock crushed as gun demand cools. So there's two things here. One, I want to show you what has happened and how the industry has become stronger as a result of Biden's administration. One. The second thing is I want to show you what it means from a standpoint of actual supply to get you firearms if you need them. Check this out. This article is worth a read if you have a second. If you're going to bed and you want to read something, this is really legit. Shares of Smith & Wesson brands fell over 12% on Friday, capping a weekly loss of 8% as demand for its guns has cooled significantly since the height of the situation. You know what I'm talking about. Now, you're talking about the highest amount of guns ever sold in history. Of course, it's going to fall from that at some point in time because it's a record. But listen to what happened when it did, because this is really important. Smith & Wesson brands generated $177.7 million in net sales during its third quarter of fiscal 2022. The figure marks a decrease of $79.9 million or 31% compared to the same time last year, again in the record-setting time. But $50.3 million or 139.5% higher than the third quarter in fiscal 2020. So basically, it was a record, it fell, and it's still higher than the previous records down here. So it's basically maintaining right here. Phenomenal news, but listen to how it translates to you. Quote, although the firearms market remains elevated and healthy with new entrants, right there, that's all the new gun buyers, it's healthy and there's new entrants. That's incredible news for the gun industry. And amazing. It has cooled significantly from the height of the pandemic surge and seems to now be following pre-pandemic historical demand patterns. That means the historical demand is now higher than it was in 2020, and it's maintaining. Amazing news. Smith & Wesson brands president and CEO Mark Smith said in a statement, "This macro demand pattern is very familiar to us and is exactly what our business model is designed to accommodate." What he's saying now is we are going to start to see more guns be made available because of the massive ramp up in production that we had during the 2021 years, Biden administration and that whole situation we had to deal with. This is incredible news for us because it directly translates to the availability of firearms for you. And when there's more availability and a lot bigger production number, the prices will go down. I'm not saying hundreds of dollars, but I'm saying the availability does drive those prices. Now, Smith told analysts on the company's earnings call Friday that there were steeper declines in the long gun category than in handguns. Now, that is even more evidence that justifies everyone in the newer side of the market is getting into handguns. However, there were sharply lower volumes in polymer frame pistols versus a year ago, partially offset by revolvers, which remain in high demand. Does an old stigma remind you of anything right now? Well, get a revolver because it doesn't jam for new gun buyers. If you've ever heard that, that kind of factors in here too. We are seeing the actual fiscal impact of what happens when new gun buyers and new entrants into the market, making it healthier. But this last piece, this is so crucial. Listen to what they did with the money. And this, if every gun manufacturer is in this position, we can withstand any storm. Check this out. Since March 2020, Smith & Wesson's manufacturing team has increased production by over 82%. The company has also become debt-free after paying down $160 million of debt, has bought back $200 million of stock, paid nearly $20 million in dividends, and invested nearly $40 million into its business. The company has over $107 million in cash on its balance sheet. no debt, bought back stock so the stock price went up, paid back all the dividends to the stockholders, $40 million invested into the business. That's new product, that's R&D, that's production lines, increased by 82% production, and they still have $107 million in cash. Guys, this is what happens when everyone embraces the rights and the free market speaks for our Second Amendment rights. We now have companies that are at the hedge, that are at the top of the market in this type of financial shape. That is directly because of your support, and any anti-gunner looks at that and gets a little intimidated because they are now in a much better position and you can't leverage it very much against them because they are so solid. That's what I've got for you. Like I said, it was a little bit lighter of a note, but it was really cool because it could mean more guns are coming on the market pretty quickly. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.